What is good, everyone? This is your host, Deanna Kuempel with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. I have such a dynamic individual with me today. Her story is just amazing. And I know she got a lot of courage to come on here with me. Her name is Antoinette Andruzzi. She is a real estate agent with Cast Management. Antoinette, thank you so much for coming on my podcast and sharing your story. Can you please introduce yourself and just tell people a little bit about your background, everything that you've got going on?
Sure. Well, my name is Antoinette, as you mentioned. I am a single mom of twins. I live in the Chicago area, and I've been doing real estate now for the last 3 years. Actually, this February, I shifted from primarily doing leasing into getting my brokers. So, I'm excited to be here, excited to share a little bit about my story, and hope to inspire some people.
Yes, well, you are very inspiring, and I actually have met you through one of our mutual friends, Corinne, and Corinne's been on the podcast as well. She's got another dynamic woman individual that's been through a lot. But not only do you do the real estate, but you also do other things as well, correct?
Yes. Yeah, actually, being an entrepreneur was kind of a metamorphosis in a way of survival,
sure,
so to speak. I spent a long time in the hospitality and service industry, starting out with, working for a major airline, and then I got furloughed and then found my way into, bartending and serving for a lot of years. And then, I had my babies, and, when you're a parent and you're trying to survive, you want to be able to, be home and be present. And so I got really creative in trying to find ways that I could, generate income from home and still be a part of my children's life. So that launched my first business, so to speak, and it was a medical courier business. So which I still have, and I have a driver that works for me, and that now
we've talked
with COVID,
yeah,
it's kind of picked up. But so that, and then through that time, I also started another business just based on working with safety. Was like my number one passion when I was with the airline. So, and then being a new mom, learning CPR.
Yeah.
So, and I wanted to share that experience, and I had a lot of amazing support with other businesses in the area, and, did that for some time too. So.
Yeah. Well, I had reached out to you because I was working for a safety company, and I was trying to get you to come in and work with us to do the CPR training. So I know a little bit about that. And so you actually, in your bio that you sent over, you said that you have another one that you had to get no website. So that's the AZ Couriers that you were talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was
any of that?
No, yeah. It's a small operation.
So the other one is A1 Medi Cert, the CPR training, and that is on Facebook,
yes.
Correct? Okay, good. So I will put all these links in the bio. But you mentioned that you had to start doing some of the stuff out of necessity because you are a single mother of 2 twins, and I can't imagine. Like my mom, my father was a deadbeat too, and I'm the oldest of 5, so I know what my mom had to go through in those struggles. So why don't you kind of talk to us about like that whole journey, because that is you're not alone in that, and I think it's important for other people to hear like how you can turn that around and be the dynamic person that you are and kind of
absolutely. Well, yeah, I mean, it's always a joyous occasion, to bring children in the world. And sometimes it could be a little scary, especially when you have the perspective of, I'm going to be doing this alone. And much to my surprise, when I went in for that ultrasound, it wasn't just one, there was going to be 2. So, I was like, holy cow, how am I going to juggle all of this? But, you make it work. I mean, people ask me all the time, like, how do you do it? And I don't do it alone. I reach out, I ask for help when I need it. And a lot of times I just, I just dig down deep and just make it work. Even right now with this COVID situation, I mean, it's been challenging.
Yeah. I think it's the statement of the year.
Yeah. And, I just make it work. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that, I was scraping by pennies, and I think this year, this month, is going to be probably in double digits for me, which is amazing. Yes. I mean, I'm so blessed. And, it's just, you don't make excuses. You get up and you do the hard work. Sometimes, sometimes I'm not sleeping very much.
Yeah. That's the name of the game, though.
Very much.
Yeah. You're juggling a lot of stuff there, but you're also, I feel like you're also a very kind, giving person. And that when you get what you give out, right? So you, like, when I met you, you supported that charity event I did last year. And I think that I had just met you and I was like, oh, wow, that's so great. And you came and you supported some of the, I think the auction items that were there. So I just feel like, when you're a person that, when you're a giver, you tend to get more back in return. So
absolutely.
Whether it's monetary or just, like, I've experienced that in my life because I'm a giver too. Like, I like to give, and sometimes I give to a fault, but it always comes back tenfold, and I don't think about it. And I know I've had some interesting conversations with people like, well, why do you do that? And almost like they're not givers, right? And I'm just like, I'm not going to worry about it because this is just my nature. I'm not going to. If I ever find myself becoming bitter, I have to put myself in check and just remind myself of who I am at my core, and not like worry about it. God is good. I mean, I'm not sure if you're a believer in God, but God is good. And, I just have to have faith. Like these last couple months, my faith has become very strong because of I've stood strong in my beliefs and in my convictions. And I just, I've just had to align myself more with God more than ever because of this. I mean, not only COVID, but there's a lot of crazy stuff going on.
Oh yeah, a lot.
There's a lot.
There's a lot of division right now, and I feel like, I think we touched on a little bit. Just to speak to the blessing too, really quick before we dive into another, but I'm a firm believer, like, you have to have your hands open.
Yes.
If I'm too busy grasping on to what I can keep as mine, my hands aren't going to be open for that blessing to come down. And I've, a lot of times too, being a single parent, a lot of people are like, why do you do that? Why do you do that? Why do you, and it's not always about money. It's about giving of my time or resources, but it always comes back. It always comes back. And that's because, I know where it comes from, and so I'm not scared because I live in faith, not fear, but, as we talked on about, society, and there's so much fragmentation right now. And it's really sad. I think a lot of people are just hurting and searching.
Yeah.
And, when we operate out of fear rather than faith and love, like, we're not going to live into our full potential.
Agreed.
And I think that's where, that's where we're seeing a lot of the disconnect, and that's why I was so excited to come on and share a little bit about my story too, because, I think a lot of times I've lived in fear about sharing maybe some things that might not be the most attractive about my life, but those are the things that have carved me. Those are the things that have broken me and brought me to my faith and brought me to a deep, deep faith. And that's why I'm such a positive person. And even when the biggest struggles come, I'm confident that it's going to all work out for the good.
Absolutely. So do you want to share some of that? I mean, you've been through a lot of almost trauma, I would say.
Yes. Absolutely.
So, I mean, wherever you'd like to start, whenever you'd like to share, because you are a guiding light to any woman that might be going through it right now and listening to your story and just like, wow, I can get out of this.
Sure. I mean, I'm not going to get, into the nitty gritties, but, just, from my earliest childhood, suffering from a lot of physical and sexual abuse, left a lot of trauma in my life. Yeah. And for a lot of years, I really just didn't like myself, and I felt it was like my fault, and I think when you suffer trauma so severe like that, it's really hard to digest and to process. And so, it led to some darker paths. I had struggled with addiction for many, many years. you know, and just finding who I was, you know, and it was through, you know, finally getting to a point of complete brokenness and finding my faith. And, you know, it wasn't always perfect. The journey wasn't always perfect.
No,
I would have my falls. Right. Exactly. Life isn't perfect. It's messy. And that's the beauty of art, right? Art is messy, but it's a process and it's gorgeous at the end. Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, through that journey, you know, it really developed my strength and my faith in God. You know, I am a Christian. You know, I believe in God. And that's where I draw the core of, you know, my hope, you know, when things are really, really tough.
Yeah.
And I've seen over and over again how in that horrible time where I like hated myself, that I could see God's hand like slowly guiding me through that mess.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, a lot of people, if they'd gone through a fraction of what I went through, you know, probably would have given up, you know, and I was very close, you know, I had suicide attempts, you know, I've been
meant to leave this planet yet.
I was not. I was not. Yes. You know, and I believe that, you know, there is purpose in my story, you know, and that's, you know, like I said, a lot of me not sharing has been out of fear because, you know, fear of maybe being rejected or not being accepted. But, you know, it's so inspiring because when I look back, I'm like, wow, you know, out of all of that, you know, I have so much to offer, you know, and I like giving back and I like helping people because I've been in that place.
I'm like tearing up over here. I legitimately am getting emotional.
Oh, I just want to give a hug.
No, but it's like they're good tears. I mean, I just, you know, with yesterday I did a podcast with a woman that was sexually abused starting at 3 years old, and she had went through a slippery slope as well. She went multiple suicide attempts, you know, and now she is an amazing energy coach and intuitive, you know, she's doing a lot of great things. And you know, here I'm talking to you and you've been through a lot of that, the same thing, you know, just different, but a lot of the same. And you are just an incredible human being. You have got such a great energy about you. I can feel it through the screen. And I mean, and you have built that core strength out of, you know, just your faith and just to keep going, you know? And I think that a lot of people don't realize, you know, and I think that these couple podcasts that I'm doing with you and her, and now that I've thought about, like, after we've been talking, everything that's going on in the world right now around pedophilia. And last year, you know, I did that event against human trafficking. It was really, I really feel like these messages are even more important right now because of that.
Oh, absolutely.
Because people don't realize it's such a taboo subject, and people don't realize the lasting effects it has on individuals. I mean, it's worse for men. If it happens, the boys, like, I don't know if you remember, but they have like a 99% survival rate if they get if they're victim of this, of, you know, sexual abuse. And so, like, your message is very powerful right now. I mean, I don't know, like, the timing is amazing.
Yeah. I mean, you know, like I said, like, that was like a dark time for me. And for a lot of times, like, actually, this is, I would say, the very first time that I've shared it publicly, you know, outside of sharing it with my brother. And that was on a family vacation, you know, and that was after years of keeping it a secret. But, you know, I find freedom in speaking the truth, you know, like when we hide behind the fear and the darkness, you know, nothing can benefit from it. Exactly. So, you know, being honest and letting that go, because yes, it's a part of my past. It's not who I am.
No, absolutely not.
And and I feel like a large part of, no, it's not. And I think a large part of our, like, whitewashed social media and society, it's like, you know, we've lost the vulnerability. We've lost the authenticity of humanity, you know, and sharing these intimate, hard times is what connects people. Amen. And that's when you have true connection. And I think that's where we're having so much disconnect, because you know, everybody's looking at differences instead of the things that bring us together, you know.
I'll have to admit, I was, when all this stuff started happening, I was a little guilty of that. I was getting a little, like, standing, like, just too stiff in my beliefs. And I And I've had to like humble myself and be like, you know what, everybody has the right to feel how they feel. I would rather just allow them to speak their minds or their beliefs or their truth, whatever that might be, and just accept it and just keep moving it forward, you know, instead of
you can speak truth and love. You don't have to be like, you know, because sometimes it's just planting a seed.
Yeah.
And then it needs to come, somebody else needs to come and water it.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
I mean, that's what happened in my life. I had lots of people planting seeds, you know, until one day, like I got it, you know, and you know, that's what happens.
That's
so, you know, we all got to work together to lift each other up and to love on one another more instead of finding things to hate on each other. I mean, just
I would agree. Yeah. It's been very overwhelming. Like I was talking to my mom, you know, probably a couple of weeks ago, and I'm just like, there's just like an evil in the world right now, you know, and it's like, it's more than I don't know for you, but more than I've ever in my life. And I'm just like, and I was having a really hard time. Like I was like there was a week there where I was really emotional, and it was just so much for me. Because I'm a little bit of an empath. So
me too. I take on. Yeah.
Right. And I
do.
I was laying on the couch because I'm furloughed right now. I'm not like, so this is like, I love doing my podcast, but you know, I haven't worked since April. And
oh geez. Yeah.
I know it's been,
it's mentally, it's mentally, especially for people like you. I mean, you're a go-getter. Yeah. So like somebody like me, I was going nuts that time, March to whatever, when I wasn't busy. I mean, I was going nuts. I'm like, I didn't know what to do with myself.
Yeah. Well, you have your kids, so I'm sure you're busy.
I have 2 monkeys hanging off of me.
2 monkeys. Oh, that's cute. Yeah. I've got my pets, so they're kind of, you know, my pit bull is like my monkey. He's
right.
He's
I know. Really, my daughter wants a dog so bad. I'm like, oh,
another responsibility. So before we wrap it up, I wanted to just like kind of touch on a couple of your fun facts. So you won the title for Prettiest Smile.
I did.
Look at that. There we go. I see it.
I did. I was, I think I was 16 actually. And I was in a local pageant, and it was also a fundraiser, you know, because I always have to be giving back in some way, but yeah,
things.
It was kind of fun.
I love that. What was the other one I saw, and I was just like, oh, I love this one. You started CrossFit at 39 years old after giving birth to your kids, and it changed your life. Tell us about that a little bit, because I'm all about
Yes. Well, fitness has been huge in my journey, especially in battling addiction. Yeah. You know, whenever you have something that just really monopolizes your mentality, you know, for me, I'm like, I'm an all or nothing girl. So I have to find something on the flip side that's going to be just as, you know, exhilarating.
Sure.
And for me, that was CrossFit. Twofold. Partly because, you know, it was that community that I desperately lacked, you know, that support system that I didn't have growing up. So that support system was found just naturally in CrossFit. And it was such a positive environment. And you're around so many great people who are just doing amazing things that you just want to just level up. You know, so it really changed, and it just really gave me confidence about myself. And during that time also, let me just say, I was also going through losing my brother to cancer. So that was highly traumatic. Yeah. And that could have been, you know, one of those make it or break it moments where I slip back into addiction.
Sure.
Or I don't, you know, and I often say CrossFit basically saved my life, because it gave me that place to go and to really work out that angst,
that release
of walking cancer. Yeah.
I'm very sorry to hear that. I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
It's never easy losing someone, but I'm glad you found an outlet that's healthy. I mean, I'm like, that's my therapy. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. You look fantastic. I'm always like following your posts. I'm like, one day.
I'm not.
When I have some more hours.
Yeah, I'm not as lean as I was, but I'm okay. Like I'm very body positive. So you have to love yourself at all stages of your life, you know. And that's a hard place to come to. It really is. I mean, and it's a work.
Especially as women, when we have children and stuff too. Like I think we beat up on ourselves and giving unrealistic expectations. Sure. You know, of the changes our bodies go through. You know, I mean, we're amazing and strong, and we should embrace that, you know.
Yes. Maybe one day. I'm still hopeful that I will have a baby one day. So, I mean, if that day comes, whatever happens to my body, I'll be like, thank you, Jesus.
Right. It will be a blessing, guaranteed.
It will, for sure. Well, Antoinette, is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway is, you know, no matter your circumstance, you know, you can always look at somebody else's life and feel like, hey, things are always much better over here, you know. And I think no matter your circumstance, like there's always going to be light at the end of the tunnel. So don't give up on yourself. Don't believe the lie that it's never going to get better, because it will. You know, every little bit helps. So every right choice, every right decision, every right step by step, will lead to a different path. And you know, and that's why I'm where I'm at today. I mean, I would have never thought, if you told me 10 years ago that, you know, I would have had a career shift and be in real estate, and I'm loving it, by the way. I'd be like, what? No, no. You know, it's just walking through doors of opportunities, you know, not being scared. You know, when I got the phone call, when somebody was recruiting me, I mean, I was in a full-time job, you know, and I was like, I left that security from a full-time job to go to a commission-based job with 2 children. So, but you know what?
That's brave.
I did it, you know, because I had faith. I had faith. I saw something better at the end of the tunnel.
That's awesome.
And I knew to do it.
I don't know if I could do. I mean, I am a risk taker, but I don't know if I could do that. I've thought about doing real estate, but I don't know if I'd be good at it.
Do it, girl. Come be on my team. Come on.
Okay. Well, and with that being said, you are with Cast Management. So are you just strictly in the Chicagoland area, or is there?
Yeah. So we have properties all over the place. I mean, we're, you know, a little big company. So I have properties in Highland Park, Glenview City, Arlington Heights. So I'm pretty much everywhere. And then, you know, I also have my brokers. So, you know, pretty much if you're looking to list or sell, you know, I can help you out. I'm pretty much all over the northwest suburbs. So.
And I will include that link in the description of the episode, and also for your A1 Medi cert, I will also put that as well. So if anybody's looking for any CPR training, that they will have that as reference as well. But thank you so much. I know you were nervous coming on. You were brave sharing your story, and I think great now more than ever, hearing stories like yours are so impactful, and just to see like how like powerful and beautiful and just like all that great energy, like how far you've come is a testament in itself. So thank you so much. But we'll have to do a sequel in a couple months after all this stuff is like passed and like where things have landed.
And then we can have some wine.
Yes, well, we could do it. Hey, I'm all about the drinking. We could do it on here. I don't care. You guys know that. But anyway, thank you guys. This is Deanna Kuempel, your host of Label Free Podcast. Live your best life. You must live label free. Please do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And I look forward to talking to you soon.